Hey everybody, this is Maxine Taylor, and I'm here to talk about the presidential election. Again, today is November 25th, 2016, the day before the first presidential debate between Hillary and Trump. There will be others, of course, and we are all going to be riveted to our TVs watching it tomorrow evening. Many of you have asked me questions about who's going to be our president. Now, you know that I use diurnal charts to make my political predictions. And if you will go back to 2015, you'll go to my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor Astrologer, you will see that I have done videos on many of the candidates. But to do a prediction, I have to have the exact time of birth. Unfortunately, we do not have an accurate time for Hillary. I got her birth data many years ago from Lois Rodden's Astro Data Bank, and I'm so grateful to Lois because the information there is awesome. She tells you if it is excellent, and by that she categorizes it as AA, or if it is not. And shades in between. If it is not, she will give it a rating of DD, like meaning dirty data, in other words. Now, because we don't have an accurate birth time for Hillary, I can't predict, I can't do an accurate diurnal on her. I tried to do it during the DNC and found out that it was not accurate. So I put her chart up. However, I do have an accurate birth time for her running mate, Tim Kaine, and I'm going to give it to you now because Lois Rodden has marked it AA. The information came from Tim Kaine's birth certificate, which she had in her hand, or he had in his hand. February 26th, 1958, at 7:59 a.m. That's got to be accurate, I think. To me, that would be accurate because if they're going to round it off, they'd make it 8. St. Paul, Minnesota. You can do your own chart work on this, those of you who are astrologers or astrology students. I'm going to give you a couple of diurnals tonight that I think I hope will be helpful to you. I'm not going to interpret Tim Kaine's chart tonight because we are on the eve of the first debate, and we're looking at the outcome of the election. Now, we will know, on November 8th or 9th. You always do it for the next day because sometimes it takes a while for the ballots to come in. Okay, I'm going to go over the diurnal that President Barack Obama had when he was inaugurated because to me it's classic. It shows exactly what I am looking for, and then I'll explain Trump's, and I'll explain Tim Kaine's election chart. Since Tim Kaine will not be inaugurated, we don't do an inauguration chart on him. So, take a look at the wonderful diurnal for President Obama. This was January 20th, 2013. And what you see are the nodes, which are very, very karmic. The transiting south node is on the midheaven. The midheaven is the top of the chart. It's your public image. It's your career. The node is a karmic indication. The natal north node is on the diurnal ascendant. And the orb that we allow using this method is 1 degree. That's it. Within a degree. So the diurnal ascendant is 27 Leo 29. The north node is 27 Leo 54. This is also a very fated position for him personally. The transiting north node is on the diurnal. I see the home, family, and real estate area of the chart. And the natal south node is on the descendant, the area of the public, the partnership, it's partnership with everybody, interaction with everyone. When you have these nodes sitting on the angles, which are the 4 main areas of the chart that we look for in a diurnal for a president, you see that they are all triggered. It just stood out so clearly. Okay. Those of you who have followed me through all this, by the way, thank you. Those of you who post beautiful comments, I really appreciate you. I will remember you forever. Now, we have diurnals for Donald Trump, and I have diurnals for Tim Kaine. I know that Donald Trump's birth time is accurate, and I've given you that birth time before, but let me give it to you again. June 14th, 1946, 10:54 a.m. in Jamaica, New York, Queens, New York. Okay. Just looking at the election diurnals first, okay? Going over what I've already said about Donald Trump. The day of the election, he has it transiting Venus. That's the Venus that's going round and round right now on the diurnal ascendant. Transiting Venus is, according to his data, 25 Sagittarius 43, and the diurnal ascendant is 26 Sagittarius 13, certainly within a degree. But Venus moves with the ascendant. And in charts that I have done, diurnal charts that I've done for many political candidates, there is a strong Venusian influence right on the day of the election because they're feeling real good about themselves. They're happy. The emphasis is on them. And so, of course, there's going to be a Venusian influence. Is this enough for him to win the election? I don't know. But I'm going to jump over here to Tim Kaine's presidential election chart because this is a fascinating chart to me. Please excuse my handwriting. Besides writing in astrological signatures, it's difficult to read anyway. The outstanding part of Tim Kaine's election chart, and this is the presidential election, is that the day after the election, and I always look to see the day after simply because the ballots are not always all in on the day of the election. So November 8th, 2016 is going to be the election, but all the ballots may not be in until the 9th. On the 9th, and I'm going to have to read this to you because I know it's hard for you to read, the diurnal midheaven will be 1 degree Libra. His natal vertex is 1 degree Libra. Now, a lot of astrologers have never heard of the vertex. Many of you have, but a lot of them have not. Charles Jane, who is no longer with us, was instrumental in discovering the vertex, and he taught it to me and a group of other astrologers when he came to Atlanta in the early 70s. We were his Atlanta group, or his Atlanta girls, as he called us. The vertex is your karmic role in life. It is your role with other people. When it is at the very top of your chart, which is your career, your public image, your reputation, it is as powerful to me as having the nodes on the angles, which President Obama had when he was inaugurated. So this looks very good for him. Now, this is the election. I didn't do an inauguration chart for him. Well, I did do an inauguration chart for him, but I didn't see anything outstanding in the inauguration chart because he's not, even if he wins the race, he's not being inaugurated. So let me go over Trump's inauguration chart, diurnal chart with you. The diurnal ascendant is 24 Pisces 22. Transiting Mars is 24 Pisces 18. It is right smack dab on the ascendant. Now, that is certainly within a degree. It is very, very powerful. However, as I said back in 2015 when I looked at that chart, Mars on the ascendant is all about me, me, me. It's not about a career. It's personal victory. This chart for Donald Trump will only be accurate if he is inaugurated, meaning he will be in Washington, D.C. on January 20th, 2017. It will not be accurate if he's not. It won't be applicable if he's not there. So if he is elected president, then his inauguration is very self-oriented, which is why I didn't give him the green light when I first looked at the chart. However, does that not describe Donald? Donald is an anomaly, and this election is an anomaly. And so while Tim Kaine has that beautiful vertex on his midheaven, and Donald Trump has Venus on his ascendant, since we don't have Hillary's chart, oh, and I do not have a birth time, we don't have a birth time for Pence. There's no way of looking at Trump's vice presidential chart, president's chart for the diurnal results, because we don't have a birth time for him. You can see, I'm sure, you can understand my frustration as an astrologer. I can only share with you what I have, and this is what I have. So, those of you who have asked me about, can I comment on Hillary's health? No, I cannot. Need the accurate time. So, dear friends, all I can say is stay tuned. I will stay tuned. Oh, I forgot to mention this to you. Tomorrow's debate, I want to tell you about the chart, just briefly. I'm going to give you information, and those of you who are able to cast a horoscope, you've got a computer program for it. You know that it's going to be tomorrow, September 26th, 2016, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time in Hempstead, New York, at Hofstra University. Now, think with me as an astrologer for just a second. At 9 o'clock, they go on the air. That doesn't mean that the debate begins at 9 o'clock, right? They're going to have time for a commercial, more than likely. I can only assume that because in past debates, they have started the show with a certain introduction, usually a commercial of some sort. So you want to mark the exact time that the debate actually begins. If it begins, if I'm totally wrong, and it begins right at 9, the ascendant is 27 Taurus 48. If it begins 5 minutes later, the ascendant is 29 degrees Taurus 21, the last degree of Taurus. And if it is between 2.5, let's say 2 to 5 minutes later, at 9, 10 p.m., I doubt that it would begin 10 minutes into the broadcast. We have 0 Gemini 52 on the ascendant. So in the first two charts, 9 o'clock to 9:05 to, let's say 9:07, we've got Taurus rising. A little later, we've got Gemini rising. Lots of communication. Now, I want you to think of these debates, or this particular debate, any contest, like a football game. The first house is the team that kicks off. The 7th house is the one that receives. So, in this political debate, whoever chooses to speak first, whether it's a coin toss or however they're going to do it, will be the first house. The 7th house will be the recipient, will be the one who responds. Saturn is in the 7th house. The moon is in the 4th, in Leo. Look at this chart. We don't have time tonight to go into it, but I think it's going to be fascinating. So I'll be giving you, now that Mercury has gone direct, and I'm back looking at these charts, I'll be keeping you posted. And very shortly, we will know who our president is. So until next time, this is Maxine Taylor saying, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. And God bless America.